the Nerdish Queen, better known as Queen Bliss, but you can call me Bliss. Um, I was kind of thinking today, I wasn't really going to make a video today, but I was kind of thinking about some things. As far as this pride thing goes, I was thinking about some past and my past and how I let my pride get in the way because I thought I could handle everything. And the truth is, because I'm a woman and I used to run the streets, and I got out of some very sticky situations, which I will explain to you. And I made it through that I thought that I could handle anything. But when it came to actually handling it all fell apart. My life fell apart. So, now, when I was 15 and I lived in North Carolina, I ran away from home. I had already attempted my first suicide, and I was 13 years old. I was in Auburn, New York, and they pumped my stomach. And I went down to North Carolina, and I was taken from, not taken from, but I was living with my mother, and it was pretty good. Nothing, was really bad. It was just I was depressed. But and things were different with my mother than they were with my grandparents. My grandparents spoiled the heck out of me, and it was a struggle with my mother and my stepdad. And my stepdad, don't get me wrong, I love him as my father. He's my second father. I'm not trying to take anything away from my real father, my biological father. I love my father. But my stepfather, he's, my dad too. I love both of them. But we were struggling, you know. So and there was tension in the house, I mean, and they both will tell you that you know they they were at that rocky point in their life where either they were going to give up or they were going to keep going. And a lot of couples get to that point and they give up, but they kept going. So and then there was a food thing, where we were eating MREs. I hope I'm not getting my dad in trouble, but we were eating MREs, you know, and they provided for us, but it was a struggle, you know. I wasn't you. I mean, with my mother being young and single, and she struggled, but she worked, but she struggled too to take care of the three of us. But I had been living with my grandparents for a while, and I didn't need for anything, nor did I want for anything. So I had got used to, the few years that I had been living with my grandparents. I got used to being spoiled. So it was kind of hard, living with my mom and having to, not, being able to get everything I wanted, and, some of the, it was kind of hard, you know. But anyways, before that, I was spoiled. I mean, I was depressed, so I ran away from home, and with the help of a friend, and she was on drugs. She was older, and this guy that she that said I could stay with him. To make a long story short, I don't even want to go into it. I don't. He said that I could stay with him. He picked me up right outside of the gate on base to where you can get in, and we went to his house. And I thought he was just being nice, and but And I blame myself sometimes for it, but he raped me that night. You know, at first I thought, I had to go along with it, but then I said I didn't want to, and he wouldn't get off of me. So, what was I going to do? When I started pushing him, he pushed harder, and he was hurting me. So, I felt I had to take it. And he was a really big drug dealer. And he left me at his house to go to work. And I looked in his closet because I was young. I was 15. And I found there. I didn't find it. It was just there. It was a gun, and it wasn't. I believe it was a sawed-off shotgun because it looked like a shotgun, but it didn't. It wasn't a shotgun. It was. But I was terrified. So I ended up leaving, and he told my friend. He didn't tell me directly, but he told my friend that if I said anything, that he was going to kill me. And he probably told her that he was going to kill both of us. But I was very scared, and that's why I didn't say anything. So he he got word to her to tell her to call me. To call him. And I called him, and he asked me, was I okay? And I had to say that I was okay. And he said that he wanted to see me. And at 15, I had to say I was okay with seeing him. And I brought a friend with me because I was scared to go to his house by myself. And so that's how I got out of that sticky situation, because I didn't want to, knowing that he had guns. Well, I saw one gun. I didn't want him to do anything to me. So, but I'm not gonna talk about the second rape. The justice system handled that. You know, and he did time for it. So, but another sticky situation that I got out of is me and a friend of mine. And this is funny to me. It's not funny. It's funny to me because we got out of that. But we were high. We were really high. And we were on our way to a friend's house. And we had stopped at a store. We were on the west side in Syracuse. And we were walking down the street. I can't think of the name of the street right now. And we were walking down the street, and well, my friend, she was ahead of me, and she started talking to this dude. And I saw her go into this bar-like place, but it was really small, and it was kind of looked like a house. And I saw her go in there, so I'm like, okay. And I had, when I came out of the store, I had stopped. This dude had stopped to talk to me, and I wasn't thinking about him once I saw my friend stopping to talk to this dude. And she hadn't gone into the house yet, so I went up to see what was going on with her. And the next thing you know, we're in this spot, we're in this place, and I'm looking at, when we get in, I'm looking around like, what the hell did we just walk into? Because I look, and there's nothing but men. We're the only girls in there. And I'm looking like, where are we? And I couldn't do anything but smile. I'm like, where are we? And so the guy is trying to get us in the back. And I'm like I had to think really, really, really fast. And she's looking like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And the guy is still trying to get us to go into the back, way, way in the back. And I see the guy behind the counter, and he's coming close, and there's a guy by the door. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. No one knows, none of our friends know we're in this place. No one knows we're there. No one knows we're in there. And all I could do was think they could take us in the back, they could rape us, they could kill us, and no one knows we're there. So I, all smiles, I'm like, well, we can't go in the back right now, but how long are you going to be here? Because, we actually have somewhere to go, and we'll come right back. We're coming right back. And so, and he fell for it. And so I was able to get myself we got out of that sticky situation. So I was always able to get myself out of some really, really, really sticky situations. But when I started going through things, I was unable to get myself. My defenses were completely down. I couldn't think straight. I was unable to, I couldn't see what was in front of me. I couldn't even think straight. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who was a friend. I didn't know who was a foe. I couldn't see. I couldn't see. I tried to, trust people. I did trust people. I trusted the wrong people. Um, so when real people came into my life, I didn't trust them either. I didn't trust anybody. And fatal mistakes could have been made. Like, had I not been with this one girl, and we were at this spot, and this like a little concert. And had she not been there, we were at this place, and this guy was like, "Can I, walk you guys to your car?" He followed us out there, and he was like, he asked me, he was like, "Can I walk you to your car?" And I'm like, "Sure," and just sure. And he's like, we're walking down this alley, and she looks, and she's like, "No." She's like, "We got it." She's like, "We're good." She's like, "No." And she was like, "What the F is wrong with you? He could have raped us or something. He could have walked us down this, he could have," and I wasn't thinking. And honestly, that's something that I would have never, I wasn't thinking straight. And I met a guy, and he was a drug dealer, and I let him hide his drugs in my house. And me not thinking, I gave him a key to my apartment. I didn't know this guy that well. I only knew him for 2 months, and gave him a key to my apartment. I don't even think I knew him that long. And what I'm trying to say is that pride thing, will have us making decisions when we're under pressure that we would normally not make. So sometimes it's good to have, people in our life, especially when we're going through sticky situations. When we're in sticky situations, we need other people to be our eyes and our ears. Otherwise, we may make mistakes that we normally wouldn't make. We may make decisions that we normally wouldn't make, and they're bad decisions. So, what I'm trying to say is, don't let pride get in your way of accepting help from genuine people who ain't trying to get all in your business, who, just want to be, 100 with you, who want to be for real with you. I understand we living in a time and in a day where it's hard to trust people because it is. But I've been there and I know. So sometimes you gotta when somebody offering to help you, you can't just turn it away like that. You gotta just sit back and you gotta fall back and you gotta be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Let, let me see what they about. Let me see what they talking about. Let me see what's going on with them. You know? So that's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I want to say. Don't be so quick to be like, you know, because what the reason why I say this is because, you know, I had a boyfriend and we dated for 4 years. And in the middle of our year 2 years together, you know, I had met his sister, you know, before when I was 16 when we first started dating, you know, and but it was during our last 2 years together that I had become really really close with his family. Like I was with them like almost every day, and I had seen his sister damn near every day. Excuse my language, I'm sorry, but I had seen his sister almost every day. You know, I started looking at his family like they're my family because I'm with them every day. You know, I'm taking her places every day. You know, when she was getting married, you know, she asked me to be in her wedding, you know, and I'm taking her places, you know, for her wedding. And, you know, one day, you know, he ended up going to jail, you know, and before he went to jail, you know, I listened to her and I listened to her tell me and talk to me about, you know, I listened to her tell me and talk to me about people, about her other sister, you know, going to the grocery store and, you know, not asking her to go, knowing she had kids, you know, and, you know, so one day, you know, me and her brother broke up, and I'm still hanging around. So, you know, I knew I was going over to chill with her anyway. So I asked her, I said, hey, I said, you need to go to the grocery store. You know, I'll come over earlier. You know, and so she was like, yeah. And so she tried to give me gas money. I'm like, no, you know, I don't need it. I was working. You know, I didn't need the money. You know, so then, you know, she started looking at me funny. Why? You know, are you, and then, you know, it occurred to me years later that maybe she wasn't used to, you know, people doing something for her without expecting something else in return. You know, and I get it. I get it. You know, because I felt the same way kind of when I met this girl, and you know, at school when I went to OTC, and you know, me and her were tight. We hung together every day, and we started going to, you know, lunch. We were going to Ruby Tuesdays almost every day, and she was paying for me, and I felt bad because Ruby Tuesdays, you know, and I was drinking too, you know, and it's like, you know, okay, so, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, well, this time I'm going to pay for you. And so she was like, no, I got it. I'm cool. You know, I don't mind paying. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to pay for you. And so this lady, Miss Breland, she told me, she's like, you're in the multicultural center. And I'm like, no, I'm going to pay for you next time. And she told me, Miss Breland, she's like, no. She was like, you don't do that. She was like, you're going to take away her blessing. If you do that, you're interrupting her blessing. She's like, you don't do that. She's blessing you. So now you go ahead and you bless somebody else. You go ahead and let her bless you, and you bless somebody else. Because you'll be interfering with her blessing. So sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to put your pride to the side. And go ahead and let somebody bless you so you can be a blessing to somebody else. Okay, you know, I've been here too long. It's about 20 minutes. You know, I could talk. You know, I don't mind talking. I love to talk. But anyways, you know, I got to go ahead and go because I'm hungry. I haven't really eaten anything all day. You know, I don't know when I'll be back on, but keep a lookout for me. you know how I do. Have a good week. You know, peace, love, and live blissful.